I was so fed up with these success marketers in TikTok and YouTube. When my feed was full of this motivational and training stuff, I decided to record this video. And now I'm going to break down this whole info gypsy market. But first, answer me this. What do you want to self-develop for? What do you want to become more productive for? We have two people, they both dig the hole equally successfully. They're giving their best to make their hole deeper and deeper. And as dumb as it sounds, the hole was getting deeper and deeper. These people became more skillful diggers with each new swipe of the shovel. But here's the catch, one of them had a goal, and he's an Arab sheik who managed to dig up oil. He became very rich, and the other one had the self-skill to dig, and there was a purpose. And all of our info space, which is aimed at increasing productivity, is trying to teach you how to dig a hole well, but it is not a fact that it is in you that this skill will lead to success, because all people are different, and what for one is a lucky ticket to life, for another is a waste of time. The info gypsies of TikTok say that you should just give up your aimless pastime and engage in self-development. You will be in the future with 100% probability the richest and most successful. But if you want to get more information, then be so kind and drop a few dollars. But that's no big deal at all, because you'll soon get all that money back thousands of times over, and you're really stupid not to buy information that will make you millions of dollars. No, there's no deception in that. I mean, we see, here's a person, here's a person, here's a person with a lot of money, and it's just TikTok counselors. But look at the most successful entrepreneurs of our time: Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg, Jeff Bezos, and the rest. They show in every interview how they are stomping for productivity and how much time they spent on self-education, which led them to where they are now, and you are worse. And now, I will reveal to you the main trick of all these gurus, successful people who tell you that you need to be, always, productive, and you need to engage in self-education. This trick is called decomposition of your goals. And it doesn't matter how far ahead your goal is, even if it's for the next 10 years. Just break it down into smaller goals. And it doesn't matter how far ahead your goal is, even if it's for the next 10 years. Just break it down into smaller goals. Get yourself a notebook to put check marks in there. The natives of the small goals you've accomplished, set yourself 100 reminders, and you'll definitely succeed. And at first you'll feel like you belong. By accomplishing these small tasks, you feel as if you are making progress, as if you are not standing still. But in reality, you and these same TikTok info gypsies are creating the appearance of a rapid self-development process because they are optimizing something that doesn't need to be optimized. And in practice, this will do more harm than good, because their idea of self-development and the cult of productivity has a huge downside. It has no end. And in the end, it all comes down to that, creating this illusion of productivity after a while. You don't see much change in your life, and you start to get the idea that you're something you're not. Here are the guys in TikTok doing well with millions of positive reviews, and I'm not doing well, so I'm some kind of a loser. I'm not like everyone else, but there's good news for you. There's nothing wrong with you. You just haven't done anything you haven't done before. You just know your stats now, how many times you showered, how many times you ate, how many times you read a book, how many times you did your favorite thing. That's all. But the worst thing is if you take on several really difficult tasks at once, because in this case, you most likely won't be able to do any of them and will drive yourself even more into a depressive state, because as practice shows, it's more likely that the hamster will die than the wheel will break. It's long past the trend these days to dress in GC Prad, wear the most expensive Roques, and drive a Ferrari. Unless it was bought for you by your dad or mom, or if you won it in the lottery. In this case, you won't get social approval because that trend is gone and a new trend of productivity has come. And in order to be in this trend, you need to not suffer bullshit from a young age, but do self-development in your free time. We've all heard that phrase that time is money. But no, time is much more valuable. But usually we always choose money because it is easier for us to count our money than our time, where we spent it. For what purpose we can easily count where we spent our money, but where we spent our free time, this is a more difficult task. And if you don't have enough time until you are 20 years old or 30 years old, then I have very bad news for you. You'll never have enough time. Unless you retire. Now everybody complains about not having enough time, but it's not so fucking much time. We have a lot of technology that's designed to save time. Internet trains, robots, vacuum cleaners, work machines. The week is shortening like this. Where does this global problem come from? A lack of time? It's simply because our brains is not yet ready for this technology. All our work, all our leisure, all our life is in one little phone. How to submit everything so that others can see how extraordinary you are, how productive you are, and generally what a great vacation you have. Instead of eating only prepared food from a real chef who has put 30 years of his life into perfecting his skills and the flavor of that dish. We choose where the light will fall better so we can take a picture and put it on Instagram. Because the taste of this dish and the emotion we will get is not so important to us as the opinion of other people who will see how cool our vacation is. And of course, we don't forget after this delicious cold steak dinner to quickly run to our room to read another 15 pages of a self-development book. You don't belong to yourself. Your main goal is not yourself, but to create a cover that will make you stand out from the crowd as the most successful, the most productive, the smartest. The cult of productivity makes you think that resting is something harmful, because when you rest, you lose out on productivity. Everyone has had that situation when you are walking down the street going about your business, and you see that some girl's car has broken down, and you go up and say, "Can I help you with something?" She says, "Yes, please look at my car. It won't start." And you just look under the hood, and there's just a clamp missing from the battery. You can see it's on a pit somewhere, and you're like, "Oh, but it's really bad here, but don't worry, I'll help you." And so after the most difficult repair in your life, you hear, "Thank you very much. Do not want to come to me. I'll treat you to dinner." And here you are already in an apartment with a beautiful girl who is grooming you, and you feel confident and cool. And at some point you start making out on the couch. And that's when you have your first thought. What am I even doing here? What about my business? What about my successful success training? Why am I wasting my time on something that makes me less productive? That you don't have these situations? But neither have I, but I'm sure you've had something similar. And if you've still had that feeling in a situation like this, I hasten to disappoint you. These people have a much lower sense of happiness and high levels of anxiety. After all, it is so difficult to live a life of work. But it is even harder for such a person to stop living like that. And therein lies the main trap you fall into, because you will always be short. You will always feel like you're missing something. No matter what goal you achieve, you'll always have the residue of thinking you could have done more, earned more, done smarter. And then you reach your new goal. And after it, you will have the opportunity to devote more time to yourself. But it will not happen. After all, if you've lived most of your life in the cult of productivity, what makes you think you can so easily take and start living differently? Because it's hard to teach and achieve, but it's much harder to stop doing what you've spent your worthless time doing. What you have spent your precious time on, so start valuing your time more. Start treating it as your main wealth, and then you will not notice how you will start to spend it more rationally, and how your enjoyment of life will become brighter and more pleasant. Bye-bye, everyone.